Hi, Lloyd Rieber here to give you a quick demonstration of my Q-sort tool. And right off the bat, I'm going to give you a little warning, and that is that I developed this app myself. It is not an official app or a certified app in the eyes of Apple or Microsoft, so it's likely after you download it that you will need to bypass the various security warnings that either your Apple computer or your Windows computer will give you. And after you launch the tool, you will come to this title screen. And the first thing it will do is check to see if there is a Q-sort that you need to complete. And I'm going to go ahead and click this green button down here because I want to show you how it actually goes and checks my website to see if there is a new Q-sort activity. And it looks like there is one on pizza, and it tells me I have not yet completed this Q-sort activity, and I have a little red light over here that tells me that my status is not completed. Well, okay, let's go ahead and begin this Q-sort activity on the topic of pizza. I'll just click here to begin. And the first thing it asks for is my name or some other identifier. And it is okay to remain anonymous. You can choose whatever false name you want. But if you are involved in a course or some other workshop or some other kind of learning activity, please use the very same false name for all the Q-sorts that you will be asked to complete. I'm just going to go ahead and type in my first name. Next, it takes me to the Q-sort page, and you see it gives me some directions there. It says to rate each statement by dragging it to one of the rating slots on the left. Only one statement can be placed in each rating slot. So that's kind of a clue to how a Q-sort works. Then it says click submit when done, and it also says you might find it helpful to first drag statements into 3 general piles: highest rating, lowest rating, and neutral. Okay, and by the way, you can always get those instructions back just by clicking there. Okay, so yeah, we have these statements, and the key here is to put one of these statements in one of these slots, and the challenge is that there are only as many slots as there are statements. Now that text is pretty small, so there are a few tools to help you out. If you're having some trouble reading that, you can increase the text size, and that will work to a certain point. I can go back to the default, or I can choose to turn on the magnifying tool. And when I turn that on, whatever statement I happen to be clicking on at the time will show up in that magnified window down below. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for now. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and take that advice of making some general or a rough sort into 3 piles. So, for example, I'm going to start with the first one. The toppings are vegetarian. That's really not that important for me, so I'm just going to put it down here toward the bottom. The pizza can be delivered to my home. Well, where I live, I know there's no pizza delivery, so that's really low in my priority. The pizza is inexpensive. That's very high in my priority. Lots of cheese. I don't really care too much about that. I'll put that in the middle. Thick and chewy. Well, yeah, I like thick and chewy. Lots of toppings. Yes, I do like lots of toppings. Ingredients are grown locally. Well, that's kind of important, but not so important. The toppings include meat. I'm kind of neutral about that. And the crust is thin and crispy. I really don't like thin and crispy. So you can see I have now a very rough general sort of these statements. The next step is to go ahead and bring those over to one of these slots. So let me go and begin, and the pizza is inexpensive. I'm going to put that maybe with a score of +1. The crust is thick and chewy. For right now, I'll make that my most important. The pizza has lots of toppings. Okay, I'll put that there, grown locally. Now, you can see these 3 I'm putting in with the score of 0. It doesn't really matter which order these 3 are in because they all get a rating of 0. And the same is true for any of the other scores where you see it's the same number. But it does make a difference if you have a rating with a different number. That's my last one. And you see that the submit button is now highlighted. All right, let me click on submit. Am I sure? If you proceed, you will not be able to make any changes. I'm not so sure. Let me cancel because, let me take one more look at this. And I really think pizza is inexpensive is my most important. So I'm going to change those around. Okay, so now I'm going to submit. Am I sure? Yes, I think I am sure. I will now proceed. And it says, please take a moment to review the statements you place at either end of the rating scale. That would be the pizza is inexpensive and the pizza can be delivered to my home. And it might also be good to look at the other ones that toward the top or toward the bottom. It says because you will be asked to explain your thinking about them. You might want to write these statements down because the screen is about to change. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Well, I have one more question to answer. It says, please rate the following statement using the rating scale below. I am a big fan of eating pizza. Do I strongly disagree or strongly agree? Well, I am a huge fan of eating pizza, so I am going to give that the strongest agree statement I can. Okay, well, you're welcome. And now it says, wait a moment, my scores are being uploaded to Lloyd's website. And yeah, thank you for participating. Great. So I can now quit the program or I can restart the program. Let me go ahead and restart. And you probably saw there it very quickly checked whether or not I had completed the current Q sort. And indeed I have. Well, you saw me do it. And great, it thanks me for doing that, and it shows a green light showing that I have completed it, but I cannot complete it again, so I do not have the opportunity to complete that Q sort more than once. Now it is possible that you will be asked to complete more than one Q sort in a particular session, so what you'll need to do is just click this green button on occasion to see if a current Q sort is available. You may also find certain messages that are appearing here in the window to let you know kind of what's going on. So it all depends on what kind of event you are actually participating in. So just kind of keep that in mind. You can always come here and click this green button to see if a new current Q sort is available for you to complete. Now, if you look over here, you can see a few things. First, you'll notice view the Q sorts already completed. Well, what's that all about? Let me click on that. And you'll see that I have one Q sort already completed. If you do lots of Q sorts, you'll see them listed over here. So I'll click on pizza, and there you can see a list of those statements in the order that I rank them according to the rating number. And I can make that text a little bit larger to make it easier to read. And I can also, if I want to, copy that data to the clipboard. Yeah, so I can now paste it into a Word document or an email, whatever I want, in order to send it to someone or just to save it for myself so that I know. All right, let me click done. And you also see that I have an opportunity to practice doing a Q sort about pizza. Well, pizza, as you can tell, is one of my favorite topics. So I have hard-coded into this Q sort tool the pizza example. And what I mean by that is it does not go to the website to pull down this pizza example. This particular Q sort example is part of the tool itself. Also, when you complete it, it will not be uploaded to the website. So it's just for practice. And so if you want to kind of try your hand at doing this kind of rough sorting, kind of get just a feel for how that looks and just what it's like, maybe turning the magnifying tool on or off, maybe change the text size a little bit to increase it or decrease it. And by the way, too, as you're moving these around, sometimes you have statements that might be on top of one another. And I even have a way to move the unsorted statements to the far right so I can kind of get those out of the way, or back to the far left. But you can just quit the practice anytime you want, and you can go back to the practice as often as you like. Well, I hope that gives you a good overview of how this Q sort tool works. I hope you are looking forward to using the tool. So this concludes my demonstration of Lloyd's Q sort tool.